shape, or form experience negativity or perpetuate the idea of negativity toward another in order to get it. So we're teaching self-empowerment. At the same time, we are also teaching them that whatever their passion is something that they can use to learn whatever lessons are necessary in physical reality without diminishing their passion. We do not attempt to, shall we say, fit their passion into the lesson. We use our imagination and creativity to fit the lesson into their passion so that they will want to learn. We make the idea of learning itself exciting and interesting so that they will develop the desire to learn, because they know that learning will always be something they can use from the perspective of what they're already passionate about. We teach them the formula and how things work in a physical universe in that way. We teach them the physics of that, as we have shared with all of you. We allow them to know that they are truly connected to Source. And of course, underlying all of that is the unconditional love that every being deserves to know that by the very fact of their existence, they are worthy in the eyes of creation.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Bashar. I'll be
Yes.
definitely taking a page out of that book.
All right. All you need to do is use your own creative imagination and be willing to see other beings, including children, for what they are as spirits, knowing they have chosen to be where they are as part of their soul's growth path, and to have the insight and the ability to perceive what it is they are attracting to themselves as part of that path, and how they will learn lessons from it that will allow their soul to grow, assisting them with that. At the same time, guiding them in ways so that they become more familiar to what physical reality is all about.
Wow, yes, that's a journey. Thank you.
Yes, it is a journey,
Thank you,
but an
Bashar.
exciting.
Exciting, yes. My final question is, what would the best way be to manage the relationship that children have with modern technology?
Well, again, you can guide them in ways that let them know there are many ways to experience the connections that they need to make. If they are allowed to feel isolated in any way, shape, or form, then they may overdo connections to certain things that allow them to either numb themselves or hide away or fill a hole or an emptiness that they may feel based on the idea of a feeling of disconnection. So it is important to allow them to experience connection in many different ways, and it is all those different ways of connection. Connection to nature, connection to themselves, connection to Source, connection to animals, connection to other beings, connection to spirit, connection to the stars, connection, 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 communication, communication, communication. The ability and the willingness and the awareness that there is communication going on between every being and every other being in certain ways will allow them the opportunity to experience the fascination of what kind of communications are going on in those connections, to explore them more broadly, to not feel cut off, to not feel isolated, so that they start relying too heavily on things that shut them down and shut them off and close them away from those connections.
Right. That makes so much sense.
I know, that's why I said it.
I'm so grateful to you, Bashar, for everything you do. Thank you.
Our deep appreciation and gratitude to you for the co-creation of this interaction. Good day. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hi, Bashar. My question is about neurodiversity, how our human being evolution is unfolding into from 5D to 7D, and how Christ consciousness is able to help us through these huge shifts, changes of not only spiritually, but physically. Thank you.
First of all, you're going from 3D or 4D into higher level third density to fourth density transformation, tapping into fifth density energy to do so. So you have been in third density in the fourth dimension. You're now going to fourth density in the fourth dimension by tapping into spirit energy, expanding your consciousness, which is fifth dimensional, fifth density energy, in order to create the fourth density being in between the third and the fifth. Seventh dimensional energy is something that is connecting to you in a different way at a different time. We will not go into that right now. But the idea is to gain more clarity, to gain more insight, to gain more awareness of what it is you're already connecting to. And the idea of neurodiversity is simply one of the reasons why we have shared with you permission slips like the sacred circuits, which in a sense are designed to allow you to realign and rearrange your neurological net in your brain, in your body, to make you a better receiver of higher frequency information and energy. And the neurodiversity is simply the different ways that are representative of the different soul paths that each spirit has chosen for itself, and the way in which they must arrange their neurology in order to be more receptive to the information that is relevant for their particular soul path. That's what the neurodiversity is actually all about, is you are able to receive information from different levels, different realms, that can be more relevant for your particular specific unique soul's path by arranging your neurology to be more receptive to those frequencies. Good day, good day.
Good day, and thank you for your service.
Aveo.
My questions are three short ones. The first one being, who are my guides that I'm working with, and will that change?
Well, it changes all the time based on their particular skill sets and what it is they are attempting to guide you in. So everyone has multiple guides that take turns based on what's needed at the time. Now, they are members usually of your soul family. They don't have to be. They can be friends that you know in spirit and may remember when you return to spirit. But the idea is that there are sometimes spirits that choose to be guides that are not necessarily members of your soul family, but they want to practice with someone, and so they are given the opportunity to do so when and where their skill set and their experience so allows. So guides can be many things. They can come from many different places. They can be parts of your soul family. They can be parts of another spirit dimension. They can be extra-dimensional or extraterrestrial beings. It just depends on what you need at the moment. But they will trade out and take turns. Usually you will have 2 to 3 that sort of stay with you throughout the lifetime, even though they may also take turns. Sometimes you connect into the angelic realms as well, again, as necessary.
Okay. And allowing that to just happen and continuing to go with my passions, I will be guided.
Yes, of course, always. You're never left alone in that sense, except to the degree where you need to learn to guide yourself. So it's not
Mhm.
done for you, but it is done to help you understand how to get in touch with yourself, feel the connection that you have to source that never goes away, so that you can be your own best guide. So a lot of times the guidance will come through the form of synchronicity, because they're using what's already in front of your face in physical reality to deliver the message. So if information that you require is already present in your reality, all that a guide may need to do is give you a slight nudge, a whisper in your ear, so to speak, to get you to pay attention to something that's already almost right in front of your face, to give you the information that you need. You may not recognize that as guidance. You'll just call it a coincidence or synchronicity, that you overheard exactly what you needed to overhear exactly at the right moment. But that can also be the product of a guide nudging you in the direction where to make sure that you will run across the information that you need.
Thank you. I understand. In regards to children, because
Yes,
I work with my grandson and other children in a Montessori setting.
yes.
Um, they're obviously not here on the call, but are they also realizing and choosing during this shift?
Of course, every being is a spirit. Everyone has chosen a path, and every spirit knew that this is a time of transformation and transition on your planet. It is the ending of certain cycles and the beginning of other cycles that will propel people who are willing to join certain positive cycles into a reality where you will experience an expansion of consciousness and an expansion of connection to your galactic family and your soul family. So many children being born on your planet now are not just a new generation, they are a new species entirely.
Okay, thank you. And the last thing is working with sound. I like to work with sound, Sanskrit, music, all of that. Is there any
Yeah.
particular vibrational sound that will help me to
Well,
stay?
whatever you are attracted to, explore, experiment. The
Mm,
harmonics that exist that are ones that are representative of natural ratios, what you call golden proportions, and things like that, can often be best for most people on your planet to allow you to experience harmony and connection and communion with the idea of nature. So explore and experiment. Whatever you're attracted to because the attraction tells you it will work with your belief system.
got it. Pretty simple anyway.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Those are my three. I appreciate your time, peace, and thank you again, Bashar.
Our deep gratitude to you, our unconditional love to you. Aveo.
Adeo.
Does God have a God himself?
God, in our estimation, in our particular perspective, is all that is. If there is the idea that there could be something quote unquote higher, then that is the all that is. And if that has something higher, then that is the all that is. So that is an infinite and eternal constant that always moves in the direction of expansion. And there can be different versions of all that is, experiencing the idea of itself being all that is or not being all that is, and having something higher being all that is, but that's still all that is. So that terminology, all that is, to us is more representative of the idea than the word God, because all that is can exist at any level that you consider to be higher than what you previously thought God was. Good day, good day.
Good day, dear Bashar. It is a great joy to dream with you together once again in this way.
It is our passion and our pleasure as well.
Thank you, dear Bashar. I am so very grateful, and I wanted to ask you also about something that occurred on April 13th when I was enjoying myself in the backyard, playing with the portal in my backyard, activating it more and more. And there was a moment when I realized that there were a few ships above my house. When I
Yes.
focused When I focused on one of those ships, the ship flew over my house, and in excitement, it was pulsing its light.
Yes.
Could you tell me who was on board that ship?
These are hybrids.
Hybrid children?
Not the children so much, hybrids. More like the idea of the Yael.
Yeah. Thank you. I would also like to make the following statement in regards to who I am in the Interstellar Alliance, my future self.
Yes.
I am Murad of the Sasani, who is of service by playing with energies, with geometries that help balance oneself.
All right.
I am
Thank you for creating a vibrational frequency that will guide you forward.
Thank you for being that anchor upline in time.
Again, it is our passion and our pleasure. Is there anything else?
Yes, I'm very excited to interact more with members of your civilization at the Skinwalker Ranch this summer.
Well, they won't always be members of my civilization, but they will involve hybrids and several other beings.
I understand. Thank you very much. My unconditional love to you. Na'ut zu ban et nida ella.
Our unconditional love to you as well. Aveo.
Aveo.
Good day.
Good day.
Hi, Bashar. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to ask you a question. I really appreciate it. As for my question, about 10 months ago, I realized for the first time how much our thoughts influence our lives and our perception. This was a game changer. This has changed my life incredibly, and I'm much happier and more balanced than before. But without a but, there would be no questions. There are still some belief systems that I'm not aware of, but which seem to be standing in my way on my path of passion. So, my question is, how do I manage to find these belief systems that are still hidden? And once I have brought them to the surface, how can I change them? Thank you again so much for this opportunity to address my question to you personally.
All right, well, two things. Number one, you have to be able to tell the difference between red light synchronicity and something that is actually blocking your way. That is a negative thing, a negative belief. Because there is green light synchronicity that says, here's an opportunity you are able to act on. And there's red light synchronicity that says, this may be representative of your passion, but it's not the time for you to act on it now. So look for something else that is representative of your passion you are able to take some action on. Otherwise, it may be something that is being blocked by a negative belief you're holding on to. And the idea is to understand what you may be getting out of, if that's the case, holding on to that negative belief, because you don't hold on to anything that you don't believe serves you. So if you believe that the alternative is worse or scarier, or that something worse will happen if you move forward, then you will stay exactly where you are, regardless of how it may not be representative of what you prefer, because it feels more familiar and it feels safer than the belief system that's telling you that moving forward would be scarier or something worse would happen than where you are now. So stay where you are so you'll be safe. So you have to first be able to tell the difference between whether it's just red light synchronicity saying, this is your passion, but not right now, look for something else you can act on, and a negative belief that is actually preventing you from moving forward because you're afraid that moving forward will be worse than staying still. So you have to get in yourself, you have to be honest with yourself about the idea of what you believe might happen if you did move forward in that way, if you did have the opportunity to act on what you say your passion is, and find out whether or not you are actually afraid of something if you move forward, or whether it's just a matter of red light synchronicity saying, it's all well and good, you'll act on this at some point, but not right now, it's not the timing. So you have to have an honest discussion within yourself and discover which one it is. When you do discover a fear-based belief, a negative belief, and you bring it to the surface and you're aware of it and you find out why you may be choosing to buy into it and stay where you are, it's about making that belief seem nonsensical. Because as soon as it seems nonsensical, you will drop it because you don't hold on to nonsensical things. The idea is that a belief makes itself seem to make sense, and that's why you hold on to it. So if it makes sense to you, if you think it's a fact that something worse would happen, then you will avoid moving forward at all costs. But if you look around to other people who may be doing something similar to what it is you say you're excited to do, and ask yourself, well, if they can do it, why can't I? Then you can understand that if you have the ability to perceive them doing something similar to what you would be passionate about doing, you have that ability too. And that the idea of the belief that may be holding you back doesn't make sense in light of the fact that other people can do it, so why can't you? So you have to find the nonsense in the belief. And sometimes it's just a matter of knowing that you picked this up from someone else growing up, your parents, your friends, your school, your society, and that it has more to do with the issues that you telepathically took from them than it does with your own issues. And it makes no sense for your path to buy into those beliefs anymore. So as soon as it becomes nonsensical, it makes no sense to you anymore, it's gone.
Hello.
Good day, good day.
How are you? I'm so excited to meet you.
Perfect. We are excited to meet you as well.
Well, I followed my excitement and it brought me here.
All right.
I guess I have something to share that leads up to a question.
Yes.
I have been able to meditate and connect to you and Willa, and you have given me some really big permission slips, and I've been able to experience some big transformations. It all started with me leaning on the trees and being in nature and
Yes, the cryptic
reconnecting.
meditation.
Yes, and reconnecting to nature and the heart rate. But I'm able to do that with the spaceships as well. And it's almost like I'm starting to understand why they call it the mothership. I'm
Yes.
getting such such wisdom I'm getting. So it's like I don't even need to read anymore. It's like the information is just transferred so quickly, and
Yes.
so much love and support and unconditional love, and it's so exciting. So this entity called EcoBar has came into my consciousness, and it's given me steps, and it keeps telling me that to follow the steps, and there's going to be helpers that come into my life. There's been a
Yes.
lot of people, and I think you're one of the helpers.
We are
And
all helpers. You are all helpers. Everyone is a helper, whether they know it or not.
that is true. And so they even told me that I was going to get this official government letter. So I've been like checking the mail like a mad woman. But then in your social experiment, you gave us that letter. And
Yes.
so it's almost like any doubt that I've had until this point um, served me until this point, and I've recently let go of that belief.
All right. Congratulations.
So, does EcoBar, does the name have any relevance to you? Could you give me any clarity or advice,
It
support?
is a combination word that is representative of certain frequencies that are important for you at this time. And it is a combination hybrid that is connected to different civilizations. It is not just one thing. It is several things that will come together and make sense in the future when you develop clearer communication with that entity.
That makes a lot of sense because this entity is from the ninth dimension. And I usually have to go into like gamma wave states to go higher, raise my frequency in order to have this clear communication. And I think I've been doubting it. And this interaction is just giving me, I guess, it's the manifestation that I was looking for.
Yes, but also let go of the labels. Things like ninth dimension are relatively arbitrary. You will understand the reason why that comes across to you later when you have a fuller understanding of what the entity actually is and how the idea of the ninth dimension is simply a translation in your reality for understanding the vibrational frequency that that entity represents.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's exactly anytime I have a block, it's because I'm forcing the connection. And so it doesn't happen. And you are right. It's a combination of a lot of light beings that have been entering my consciousness. And I'm remembering, I'm connecting to a lot of parallel realities. And
Yes,
I know I'm a part of the hybridization, and
you are
seeing.
becoming aware that you're connecting to a lot of realities because all of you always connect to parallel realities. It's just that the expansion of consciousness allows you to become aware of what you've already been doing.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does.
Can you give us any clarification on all the solar activity going on right now in Aurora Borealis? Because I know that there's a connection with me. I've always been attracted to that. So I just figured
All right.
I'd ask.
Well, again, the solar storm that your planet is experiencing is an opportunity to transform those energies and accelerate those energies. It's like saying, my vibrational frequency can raise to the point where I can sort of, shall we say, euphemistically, ride the wave of the solar energy coming to you now. You can be propelled, you can be accelerated, you can be pushed more accelerated in a way toward the idea of what it is you prefer. You can use it as a cleansing mechanism, a cleansing vibration, a cleansing harmonic to let go of the things that are no longer relevant for you, negativity, fear-based beliefs, and emerge by riding that wave into a new reality that is purer, that is more streamlined, so to speak. You can use it that way.
That makes a lot of sense because last night it came to me. It finally connected when you're saying like, tell the story that you prefer. So I told myself a bedtime story, um,
All
and
right.
it was fantastic. And that I'm gonna add that to my bedtime routine. But just telling the story that we prefer because we're already telling the story. It's just most of the time doesn't serve us, and we're just in this
Yes.
repetitive cycle.
Yes, the solar storm is kind of a way of acting like a broom. It's like any wind that clears out debris and allows for a fresh start on a different level, of course, in a different way, of course, with regard to the physics involved. But nevertheless, it is like a certain kind of wind that sweeps through and clears out the old debris and makes room for new growth.
That's exactly what I'm experiencing. That's thank you for giving me some clarity on that.
Yes.
I guess my other question is there anything that I can do to help myself clarify when I am acting on excitement versus anxiety?
Well, again, just honest self-investigation should be able to tell you the difference. If you're willing to hear the answer, willing to discover what's going on, ask yourself, why am I choosing this? You'll know if you're honest within yourself, and take a moment to figure that out, whether it's from true excitement or whether it's anxiety. You just have to have an honest self-discussion with that.
To take that pause. Yeah, and I think that's what
Yes.
breath work helps me a lot, is to just
Yes.
start breathing
Just
better.
breathe, and in the spaces, take the time to investigate yourself. You don't have to rush forward. Take the time to sit with it and ask yourself, why am I choosing this? Is it from excitement? Is it from anxiety? And just go within and let the answers come. And don't be afraid of whatever they are, because it's part of your soul's growth, part of your soul's path to figure that out. So that's the most important thing you can do in those moments when you're uncertain.
To take that pause. And this entity EcoBar is saying that I'm somehow going to move from what I'm doing, I'm a storyteller, into science. And I know that science and spirituality is the same thing, but
Well, sort of. Different expressions of the same thing.
it's going to become more apparent to more people.
Yes.
And I'm writing this children's book about breath work, and it's
Yes.
somehow connected to getting the children to remember how to breathe, which in turn will get the parents to remember how to breathe. And it's
Yes.
going to help them. I guess the children will be the first to go on the ships. That's kind of my interpretation.
Well, we're not going to comment on that at this particular moment.
Okay.
It's a little premature.
Definitely. I think that's what the entity keeps telling me too.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much. This has been an amazing experience.
What we described as what you can use the solar wind for, what you typically refer to as a solar storm, but solar wind, is one of the reasons why the mothership that I am associated with is named the solar wind. Because that's what it does vibrationally. It clears the way for new growth.
Okay, one more comment. I'm a Reiki practitioner, and prior to your teachings, the entities and the beings that would come were mainly angelic ancestors, people's loved ones, Jesus. And as soon as I've connected to your teachings and was able to integrate the information, the spaceships are coming now. And I
Yes, well,
never
you've reached a different level. Now, that's not to say that the spaceships are more than or better than what you were getting, but there's a timing to this in terms of what people on your planet are ready to receive. The idea is that people have been more ready to receive knowledge from spirit than they have from extraterrestrials until recently. So the idea is that you're right in step with the idea of what the collective consciousness is now open to receiving from a new source that is representative of the connections you are making to the stars, as well as connections you have been making to spirit. Because there's not that much difference between the two, but your society has been making a difference between the two. Oh, spirit is one thing, extraterrestrials is something else. And yes, that's true, but we are closer to the idea of the vibration of spirit than you think.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And you're right, because each client, it will be different. The client that's ready to experience a little more clearing, the spaceships will come and the extraterrestrial energies will come. And
Yes.
I'm seeing clearing on a level that I've never seen. And it's very similar to what you expressed with the solar flares. And I'm just feel so appreciative to be able to have this in my reality now. It's amazing. And one last thing I wanted to share is about the stars. Ever since I was a little girl, I would always tell my parents that I was a star, and they thought it was that I wanted to break into Hollywood, which ended up being a part of my journey as well. But it wasn't. I now understand what I meant. Like, I am a star. Like, that's home.
Yes. Spirit is your home.
It is.
It's everyone's home. So, welcome home.
Thank you so much.
Aveo. Good day.
Yeah.